Bole? Okay. So, the definition of history. We will go for the definition of history first, and then subject matter. Look, ever since man became human, perhaps history started. So, if you ask what is history, simple answer you have is study of past. But have you imagined when we start history, when we talk about the past? We can start history ever since ape became man. Or slight earlier, when life evolved on earth, or earth came into existence. Then history start. Dharmendra sir chalana is projector. History start. So ever since man became human, or the ape became man, a life evolved on earth, or earth came into existence, we can start history from here. Around 4.5 billion years ago, 4.5 billion years ago, earth came into existence. 4.5 billion years ago, around. And it had taken 1 billion years to evolve life on earth. Means around 3.5 billion years life evolved on earth. A small microorganism, invertebrates, so life evolved on earth. And then ape to man. And thereafter, till 2023, this is the past. And this is the subject matter of history. So if history is a study of past, then we have to study this length. If this is the length of the history, then history is not, at least not a subject to study. So we have to simplify the definition first, is study of past. Not all the events, but those events of the past which have great impact on future. This is the subject matter of history. Not all the events, but those events of the past which have great impact on future. You came to Sriram's IAS, it is not at all historical for you. But when you become an IAS, it will become historical for you. So not all the events of the past, but those events of the past which have great impact on future. Social, economic and political life of humanity. This is the first definition of history, right? Then all the context of history is written in modern days. But we are writing about 5,000 years back, 3,000 years back. How? Historians. They write history. They pick the fact which is 3,000 years old or 5,000 years old and then analyze it. And after analyzing, assumptions, scientifically examination, and thereafter we are writing the history in modern days. So everything is written in the modern days. Everything. You will be surprised. There is a greatest monarch in Indian history. His name is Ashoka the Great. And before 1837, before 1837, we were not knowing even the name of the Ashoka. And he was ruling in 300 BC. So after 2000 years, we came to know about Ashoka. That Ashoka was one of the greatest monarch in Indian history. How? We found some facts from that period and then we analyzed it, they understood it, deciphered it, and then we come to know that Ashoka was the greatest monarch in Indian history. So history is basically Examination of the facts, analysis of the facts. Suppose, for example, in Karol Bagh area, wherever you excavate, it comes out. And she is a very genius, curious student, so she immediately picked up, decided to examine it. She went to the laboratory and she found that the carbon dating of this object is around 3000 BC. So she got a very antique thing, and then she will analyze that people of Karol Bagh were using a pointed instrument. If it could be fixed in the wall, we can hang jacket over there. History is what historians said. History is what? Analysis of the fact. So the second definition of history is analysis of the fact by the historians. Fine. Same fact, इसने बोला मुझे भी दो. I am very much curious to know what it is. She transferred it. ये आदमी काफी इंटेलिजेंट है, पूरा मोहल्ला इंटेलिजेंट बोलता है. Entire मोहल्ला tell him the intelligent boy. Then he started analyzing. Okay, this is pointed at one end. If you hold like this, then we can write it. So the same fact, this historian will say the people of Karol Bagh were using an instrument in 5000 BC, which could be used for the writing purpose. Same fact, manipulations are different. इसने बोला कि कोई माने ना माने मैं इंटेलिजेंट हूँ. Then he passed the fact to him. He tried it his level best, taken all the efforts, चाय पी के देखा. And then finally he threw it out, फेंका बाहर. बोला बेकार है, useless है ये. This is useless thing, you are just diverting the debate. So therefore he made this fact irrelevant. All three are brilliant historians. So history is what? Historian says. History is what? Analysis of the fact by the historians. Historians making the relevant fact historical, irrelevant fact unhistorical. So crores of the facts are there in the ancient India. Some fact became historical and some fact became unhistorical. Understand? So final thing is that the two good definitions of the history we have found. First thing, those events of the past which have great impact on future social, economic and political life of humanity. This is the first definition. Second, history is analysis of the facts by the historians scientifically and chronological order. Historians making the relevant fact historical and irrelevant fact unhistorical. These are the two definitions of history. So थोड़ा कॉपी पर भी काम कर लेते. It's look like that Sundarkand is going on. So what is history? The first thing, study of past. Study of past. Second thing, those events of the past, which have big impact on future social, economic and political life of humanity, which have big impact on social, economic and political life of humanity. Second, history is analysis of the fact in scientific and chronological order. In scientific and chronological order by historians. Historians making the relevant fact historical, and irrelevant fact, unhistorical. Fine. So these two definitions of history. So ape and man. There is no debate in anthropology that ape is ancestor of human. There is no debate. Ape is ancestor of human. We have so many evidences to prove. So ever since Darwin, he was the person who proved this theory related to the ape ancestor of human. Darwin also said the same thing, and human activities also proved the same thing, that ape ancestor of man. आदमी का हरकत भी बताता है. Ape is ancestor of man. So 1856, Darwin wrote a book, 1853-56, Origin of Species. In this book, Darwin laid the theory of ape ancestor of human. And then Darwin wrote another book, Descent of Man. So, in this book, Descent of Man, Darwin said, since majority of ape live in Africa, therefore we should look our ancestor in Africa. So, after the call of Darwin, the Descent of Man, so many researchers, they rushed to Africa. And since most of the researches was conducted in Africa, therefore most of the evidences related to the human evolution we have from Africa. This is the only reason, because research was not conducted in other parts of the world except Africa, because maximum intensity of the scientists and anthropologists was focused in Africa after the call of Darwin. So till date, whenever you find any article in Hindu or Indian Express about the human evolution, most of the evidences are connected to Africa, because research maximum conducted in Africa. So these two books are nodal in the history of finding the relation between ape and man. Origin of Man, and the second was Descent of Man. Origin of a Species and Descent of Man. These two books was given by Darwin. But related to the ape and human connection, we have done lots of advancement, but still there are so many things to prove. So, as per the evolutionary history, Miocene period in geography, in the geological time scale, you might have seen that there are eras, and era divided in periods, so many periods. So, era divided in period, so there is an era, there is a Cenozoic period, Cenozoic era, and in Cenozoic era there are so many periods. So we have one period is called Miocene period. So we are living in Cenozoic era. Right now the continuation is what? The Cenozoic, continuation is Cenozoic era, and period is different. But there are so many periods in there: Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pleistocene, Holocene. So many periods are there. So here in Miocene period, there was a huge ape, cylindrical type of buffalo type ape, Dryopithecus. Scientists had found out the evolution of human from here. Complete ape, huge shape, buffalo type ape. And then one branch of this ape moved to the forest area, and one branch moved to the plain area, and others remain in the forest areas. those who lived in the forest, they keep on doing the brachiation. And those who moved to the plain area, in order to do hunting, they started jumping on 2 foots. So started jumping on 2 foots. Perhaps this is the time when knuckle walker, the ape, turned into bipedal. This is the biggest mystery in history, that when exactly the knuckle walker turned into bipedal. Till date, despite the lots of advancement made in the human research, but we are not able to find that how Dryopithecus turned into bipedal. But we have found a fossil which is ape bipedal ape, and that is from Africa. So scientists gave the name Australopithecus. So for your information, this is considered as first known bipedal on earth, Australopithecus afarensis. It's from Africa. So Dryopithecus is a knuckle walker, and then Australopithecus is bipedal. And this is the oldest fossil evidence related to bipedal. So bipedal, there was a problem of mating then, and the bipedal will mate with bipedal, knuckle walker will mate with knuckle walker. So because of this nature, we started calling this species Homo. Homo means those who mate in the same species. And this is the reason why gradually Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, and we are Homo sapiens. So knuckle walker. So from Australopithecus, there is evolution of Homo sapiens. But one thing is very sure, that this is oldest bipedal on earth, Australopithecus. So understand very carefully. If you ask the ape to stand up, the way that erect ape looked like, the same was the feature of Australopithecus. Physically, whatever the observation you can make by looking the erect ape, but there was some genetic change also, and automatically there was a genetic change because of the change in somatical or the physical character. So what was the biggest genetic change you observed in the bipedal? That offspring, जो baby है, the baby of knuckle walker, we have seen that they become independent within hours, days, month maximum. But baby of human, which is bipedal, the 4-5 years intensive care, and some baby remain in intensive care till the attempt of UPSC, 32 years. So I mean to say that the way bipedalism developed, then genetic change was the lady Australopithecus started bearing the baby which is mentally and physically immature baby. So this genetic change was very unique among the bipedal. So this lady Australopithecus started bearing the baby which is mentally and physically immature baby. So this lady plus baby. Now baby is so immature that lady won't leave the baby in the forest and to go to collect the food. So baby has to be there in the intensive care. So both mother and the child needed third party assistance. And third party assistance will be male, because every female had the same problem, सबको baby है. So she is not free. So free कौन है? Male. Anytime male is free. Right? So male plus female plus baby. This is family. And family is a part of culture. So with the biological evolution of bipedalism, the cultural evolution had started. So how much biologically evolved, that much culturally evolved. The family is a part of culture. Only bipedal has the family life. If you forget the Discovery Channel, even Discovery Channel mein to even the ants had the family. But here in practical life, it's only human. The man is only a social animal. And that is how the family life had evolved. So change in evolutionary character. Okay. So the $1 million output is of this entire discussion is that biological evolution always leads to cultural evolution. Right? This is a parallel thing. How much biologically evolved, that much culturally evolved. Okay. Then, second important development other than genetics is cranial capacity, this one. It is said that how much big the cranial capacity is, that much IQ. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि if head of the human is very big, that means human is very intelligent. Cranial capacity per unit body weight. Otherwise, elephant will become most intelligent. So cranial capacity per unit body weight, it is highest in human. Cranial capacity per unit body weight is highest in human. So CC, cranial capacity per unit weight is highest in human. It is a marker of IQ. So this is highest in human. So human is considered as the most intelligent species on earth because of this nature. Cranial capacity per unit body weight. Okay. So ever since the human became intelligent, then human started making the tools to make their life easier. Like today you make app, food, vehicle. So because you have innovated enough to find your life easier. So when the biological evolution had taken place, then humans started making their life easier by innovating the tools. And that is the reason why there is a technological evolution as well. So biological evolution, cultural evolution and technological evolution, these three are the parallel thing in the human history. Fine. So human also started making the tools made up of stones to make their life easier. So how much technologically evolved, that much culturally evolved, biologically evolved. These three are the parallel things in the history of evolution of human. You must understand one thing, that culture is directly proportional to technology. Technology keep on changing, culture keep on changing. Right? So with every technological change, culture adjusted itself according to the need of the people. So how much technologically evolved, that much culturally evolved. Fine. But in modern days, technology changing much faster without giving enough chance to. Culture is slow, technology is fast. So technology changing much faster without giving culture to get it adjusted, and that is the reason why there is a term developed, it's called cultural lag. What is cultural lag? Because you are not in the tune of technology, and this is called cultural lag. So whenever you found any person not tech savvy, you call the person cultural lag hai. So technology and culture is interrelated thing. So in modern days, technology changing much faster without giving enough chance to culture to get it adjusted, and that is the reason why there is a cultural lag. Fine. But that time technology was slow, culture was slow, because human was in the stage of evolution. But now we become perfect Homo sapiens, nothing evolving. And thereafter the technology and cultural lag became more, because the cultural evolution had become in tune with the technology. So here this is a cultural thing. So technological evolution, biological evolution and cultural evolution all parallel. This is a basic understanding, you need to clear it. Okay. Indian history, it is divided in 3 parts. We call it is ancient India, this is medieval India and that is modern India. According to our NCERT, we have 750 AD as ancient India. Before that, 1707 when Aurangzeb died, the Mughal ruler, we call it, this is end of the medieval period and beginning of modern period. This is a proper division done in the Indian history. Right, imagine the thing, situation, imagine the situation. 750 AD, early morning you got up, or medieval India aa gaya. That is virtually impossible to think that within a year, within a day, yesterday it was ancient and then become medieval. If this is the dating system, you have to understand. Then 1707 AD morning you got up, oh modern aa gaya. This is modern India, became surprised to see. This is virtually impossible, because if you go by the literary meaning, ancient and medieval, so if you observe change in society, this is ancient society and this is medieval society, 100, 200 years of the observation will make you understand that there are some changes. So single day could not be defined as ancient transition into medieval and medieval transition into modern. So there is no ancient, medieval and modern in the history. Fine, there is no period in history. History is what? Continuity and change with respect to time. Society continue, character बदलता रहता है. Sometimes Ashoka, sometimes Chandragupta II, sometimes Akbar, sometimes Nehru, Modi, keep on coming. But the society keep on changing with respect to time, that could not be changed with the character. Character keep on changing. If you want to observe the social change, 200, 300 years, yes, will make you understand that yes, there are some changes. Right? So this division, ancient, medieval, modern, coaching wala, university wala, student, teachers, for the convenience of study, convenience of teaching. Right? So there is no scientific reason to divide history in ancient, medieval and modern. It is just for the convenience of history study. Ancient खत्म हो गया, medieval, modern पढ़ेंगे, देश में ancient पढ़ाएंगे, ये medieval पढ़ाएंगे. That is the way that university coaching define the syllabus, just for the convenience of study. So history is what? It is continuity and change. So history is always continuity and changes with respect to time. This is history, right? So history is what? The continuity and change with respect to time. So my dear, there is no chapter in history also. If there is no chapter in history, then you cannot delete or add chapters. So any chapters in history could not be deleted, because you have to eliminate like the biggest gap. When knuckle walker turned into bipedal, the similar gap will come out. Suppose we eliminate some period of the Mauryan period or the Mughal period, then history would not remain a history. Right? So there are no chapters in history and there is no fundamentals to eliminate any chapters also. Yes, you can forget the character, but you cannot change the history, because characters keep on coming. If you don't like any character and you are in very powerful position, band karo isko. But the social thing, the economic thing, the political thing will continue as it is. Right? So therefore, the elimination or the deletion in the chapter or the addition of the chapter is not possible in the history. Characters you keep on adding because it is your choice to whom you study. Right? So ancient, medieval and modern, there is no scientific reason to divide history in these segments. So I think we have done enough work before coming to syllabus, some understanding, a general understanding about history. Then I told you that everything written in the modern days, it is legacy of the British that we have the history. Otherwise, we don't believe in the past. We have so many historical things, Ramayana, Mahabharata. My dear, this is not a religious literature. This is the nation's history. But problem is that most of the scholars said that Indians, they don't have the taste of history. And therefore, we don't maintain the chronology. We don't maintain the year, dates, nothing. But the rhythmic recitation of the past, that creates some sense of history. So literature can be fiction, but history can never be fiction. So the ancient literature like Ramayana and Mahabharata, it is not a literature that you call it is a fiction or the gospel, but basically it is a nation's history. Right? So literature can be fiction, but history cannot be fiction. Maybe the events had not been in properly order. Maybe the characters have been something different, but the crux of the events always remain the same. Fine. It defines so many things. History always gives us a moral lesson, learnings. Those who forget the history, the nation would not survive. Suppose tomorrow you forget 15th August 1947, your nation will not survive. Because it is compulsion for us to celebrate 15th August 1947. What a Telugu, a Tamil, a Punjabi, Bengali, Marathi are united because we have a united struggle for the 190 years against the Britishers, and that legacy we have to remember time by time. That binds us together. You know, in entire world, no country celebrate the way that we celebrate our Independence Day. This is our festival. Ek haath mein jhanda, jalebi. Right? So this is our festival. And this is a must for the unity and integrity of India. Okay? So this is the importance of the history. Okay. There are sources to study ancient India. Mainly, there are three sources. Literary sources, archaeological sources, and third is folk tales. Nani ki kahani. This is also a very important source of history, the folk tales. Okay. So there are three important sources on which we construct ancient India. But as I told you, literature had very big limitation of ancient India because we don't believe in dates. Even sometimes we wrote the book and forget to write the writer's name also. So negligent. There was an Arabic writer, Al-Baruni, right? He clearly said that Indians had no taste of history. Al-Baruni also said the same thing. And whenever I see some students coming for the first time in my class, I also realize the same thing. But when we start the class, it became interesting. This is a different thing. But Al-Baruni also confirmed the same thing, that Indians are very scared about history. So here, folk tales. So literary sources is not so important as archaeological sources. Because archaeology, we can find the carbon dating scientific method to put the date and then try to find the analysis. Okay. So archaeological source is the most reliable source to understand ancient India. If there is no archaeology, then only when we will take the support of literature. If there is no gap, there is a big gap, then folk tales. Right? So archaeological source is considered as the most reliable source because we can find the carbon dating method scientifically to put the date. Fine. Okay. So archaeological thing and literature. Literary and archaeology. If there is no archaeology, then we will go for literature. And even there is a gap in the literature, we take the help of folk tales. Hanuman ji aaye the. And then we connect the dots. Okay. Then there are mainly three histories. One is prehistory. लिख रहा है ना साथ में, prehistory. Second is proto-history. And third is history. There are three types of history: prehistory, proto-history and history. So prehistory, we have only archaeological source. We have only archaeological source, we call it is a prehistory. Like Stone Age. Stone Age is basically what? A prehistory. Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, prehistory. Protohistory, we have both archaeology and literature. Archaeology and literature. But either literature not deciphered, मतलब literature was not decoded, not deciphered, or there is no coherence with the archaeology. Two things. Either it was not decoded, or if decoded, there is no match with the archaeology. Archaeology explains something else, literature explains something else. Like Ramayana, Mahabharata. We don't have archaeological evidence the way that literature defined. Or even we have evidence of archaeology, difficult to match with the literature. Buddha and Jaina as well. So this is called proto-history. So in proto-history, we have Harappa, that is Indus Valley civilization, Harappan civilization. Like we have the Vedic period, like we have the age of the Buddha and Jaina. These are considered as proto-history. Right? Either literature not deciphered, or if it is deciphered, not in tune with the archaeology. Archaeology had some different explanation, or literature gives some different explanation. So this is called proto-history. Right? So in proto-history, literature, either literature not deciphered, or if deciphered, not in tune with the archaeology. not in tune with the archaeology. So here with the Harappan civilization, Vedic, Buddha and Jaina, these we considered as a proto-history. And in history, we have archaeology and we have literature. And both support, both suffix, both explain each other. And the Mauryan period is the beginning of historical period. Literature deciphered, tuned with the archaeology, that all together. So in India, the beginning of the historical phase is the Mauryan. Is it okay? Fine. So 100% clarity. It should be a mirror-like thing in understanding the subject, because your understanding will create interest, and your interest will create concentration. And what is concentration is all about? It leads to memory, right? So very small cycle. What is memory? Nothing but concentration. What is concentration? It is simply the interest. And how we generate the interest? We have to create the interest. Interest creation, right? And then interest generation. I will try to generate the interest. You will create interest. Things will become interesting. Thereafter concentration and all your memories. You will never forget. Crores of the events will have to remember. But you don't have to remember by choice. It will get automatically. So in history, don't take the stress to remember anything, but focus on the events. And events is very sequential. So if you know the one event, you know the sequence also. And thereafter, years will automatically fits inside. So don't remember. This is the trick. So don't create your burden. Did you understand this fact? That how it is an interesting thing will create the memory. And in preparation of UPSC, there is very defined strategy. Very few students catch it. You don't focus on your weakness. No. There are so many weaknesses, I know. Focus on your strength. What is your strength? Things that you understand the subject. In entire history, there are many things you may not understand, or it feel like boring. You tried once or twice, but many things you understood. So things that you understood is your strength. So strengthen the strength. Then only when you will solve the objectives, which is a very tricky. Right? Overall, 60 questions to banana hai na total. In prelims, only 60 questions you have to solve. So strengthen the strength first. Otherwise, if you so much focus on the weakness, you may increase one question. If you focus on the strength, you may upgrade your 2-3 questions solid. Fine. So therefore, choose the strength in each subject, whether it is a history, geography, polity, economy, anything. Right? In entire subject, you have found that the 60% of the content or the topics is very strong, 40% is taking very tedious time. Get back to your 60%. And that 60%, how much powerfully you can gain, that easily your success will be. Because I told you, you have to solve only 60 questions. And your strength will suffix that 60 questions. So don't see the big burden. See the ladders on which you have to ride the burden. Fine. So take these mantras very carefully and find the strategy thereafter. So, archaeology, prehistory, protohistory and history. So, our syllabus, I told you that ever since the man became human, then the ape became man, then the tool making technique also started. And human started using the raw material to make the tools was stone. So ever since stone was used as a raw material to make the tools, it is called Stone Age. So here is the syllabus. Stone Age. Why call Stone Age? Ever since the human started using stone as a raw material to make tools. And thereafter, the archaeology, this is the beginning of prehistory. So Stone Age, defined Stone Age. Sandstone was very easily available and easily breakable sandstone. So easily available and easily breakable. So human started using sandstone to make the tools. Plenty of availability all over the world, we have the sandstone. Okay, so sandstone. There are 3 divisions in history. Stone Age, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic. Paleo means old. Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, and New Stone Age. In different books, there are different periods. So most acceptable period is around 1.5 lakh BC to 10,000 BC. This is Paleolithic age. 1.5 lakh BC to 10,000 BC, this is Paleolithic age. I hope you got the notes from the Sriram's IAS booklet. You will find 2.5 lakh BC. This is also correct. So whether it is a 2.5 or 1.5, there are some variations in the fact. So 1.5 lakh BC is 10,000 BC. This is Paleolithic. So Paleolithic means old stone age. In this age, human, mostly the economy of human was hunting and food gathering. Hunting and food gathering. This is most important part of the economy. Hunting and food gathering. There was no other ways. Okay. And throughout the world in this period was common to the Europe, Africa and Asia all. So throughout the world in this period, there are only 3 types of tools. This is common. So they don't have intellectual property right. TOT was very common, transfer of technology. So they immediately say, so there are 3 types of the tools in the Paleolithic period. First is called hand axe. Suppose you pick the large stone and you make it like this, right, and put a wooden bucket here. This is, you hand the handle, this is working border, you caught the animal, beat it, hand axe. Then second was cleaver. Cleaver. So suppose this hand axe is sharpened from one end. Sharpened from one end. That is cleaver. Cut into two pieces. And suppose it's sharpened from another end also, but little more sharp. More sharp. It is little more sharp. Cut, both sides. And that is called chopper chopping. Chopping. So these three instruments were used by human in the Paleolithic period. This is common in all over the world. Paleolithic period. Europe, India, all over. But you know, in Europe, we have found the tools at many places, and along with that we have found the definite evidence of presence of human bones and things used by human. So we are very sure that this is a Paleolithic site. But in India, we have found the tools at many places, but we don't find the evidence of human. No bones, human bones. So this is the limitation of Indian Paleolithic. Despite this limitation, we call any site as a Paleolithic site. Historians said that since the soil of India is acidic, so normally bone tools did not survive for the long time. And this is what we don't have the evidence of any human bones or human remains. But we found many places, at many places there is a Paleolithic tools. So difference between Indian Paleolithic and European Paleolithic. Difference between Indian Paleolithic and European Paleolithic. In Europe, we have found the remains of human along with the tools. But in Indian Paleolithic, we found tools at many places. We found tools at many places. Tools means Paleolithic, tools means hand axe, cleaver, chopper chopping. Tools at many places. But there was no definite evidence of presence of human. There was no definite evidence of presence of human. So this is a limitation of Indian Paleolithic. This is limitation of Indian Paleolithic. I told you that everything started during the British period. Otherwise, we don't know the Ashoka, then how would you come to know about the Paleolithic age? So, in 1863, there was a Cambridge expedition came to India, a Cambridge expedition led by Robert Brucefoot. So Robert Brucefoot and his team was walking in the forest of Tamil Nadu. And there is a place in Tamil Nadu, Palabharam. And here he found the hand axe. And this is the beginning of the Paleolithic study in India. So this is all recent, very recent. So the beginning of Paleolithic study in India is started with the Cambridge expedition led by the beginning of Paleolithic study in India had started with Cambridge expedition led by Robert Brucefoot. He found hand axe at Palabharam, Tamil Nadu. Palabharam, Tamil Nadu. P-A-L-A-B-A-R-M, Palabharam, Tamil Nadu. Then D. Terra, he also found Paleolithic tools at Atirapakkam. So this is these two places are in Tamil Nadu. Atirapakkam. So these are the two places in Tamil Nadu. D. Terra and Robert Brucefoot, both. So hand axe, cleaver and chopper chopping. This is the beginning of Paleolithic sites in India, Paleolithic study in India. Paleolithic age was divided in three parts. Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic and Upper Paleolithic. It was said that in Lower Paleolithic, human was yet to become the human Homo erectus. Homo erectus. And Middle Paleolithic, we have Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens and Homo erectus. So man became completely human, Homo sapiens like we are today in the Middle Paleolithic. What do you think? How old you are? Not by your age, but when Homo sapiens came on earth, Your species is how much older? Any idea? 10,000. नहीं ऐसा नहीं, इतना रिसेंट नहीं. It's around 1.25 lakh BC. Because the oldest fossil evidence of Homo sapiens found from Africa is not older than this age. So Homo sapiens are not older than, we are not older than 1.25 lakh BC. And when Paleolithic age started? 1.5 lakh BC. So Paleolithic age started 25,000 years before human came into existence. And that is the reason why we call Homo erectus. The first Homo erectus came, and then gradually into 25,000 years after Homo sapiens evolved. Human had a very excellent hunting and food gathering economy, sedentary life. Wherever they found sleepy, they sleep. Whether it on the ground, पैर पर, नाव पर, उल्टा लटक के, anywhere, that is सो जाएगा. There is no defined ways that you should have a AC and kernel. No. They tame the animal, catch the murga, खा लिया. They catch the animal, खा लिया. Raw meat. Pluck the apple, खा लिया. But in middle Paleolithic age, there was a biggest invention of the human. It was discovery of fire. And fire had changed the entire lifestyle of human. Earlier, they were eating raw meat. Now they will eat tandoori. So their lifestyle will change automatically. So therefore, the fire keep on burning, just you have to catch the murga. And that is how their lifestyle will change. The food habit will change, their habitational pattern will change. So therefore, even they can settle in the cold wind. So this is the biggest discovery of human life. Okay. I told you that we are not sure that where human was living, in which place, what was the habitational thing. But in Upper Paleolithic, around 10,000 BC, human started living in caves. We have the full evidence that now the caves was the new shelter of human. So cave shelter had started in Upper Paleolithic age, and it's around 10,000. So habitation had changed. So now they started searching the cave. All caves are the natural cave. So they started searching the natural cave. Cave was already there, just to make it habitable. Look, have you ever went to Bhimbetka? Surely not. But if you want to meet your ancestor, how your ancestors were living, just go and visit Bhimbetka. In Bhimbetka, Madhya Pradesh, we have 600 small caves. It was like a city. 600 small caves. We enter in the cave. It's not like they found the cave and they go inside and they sleep. They believe in Swachh Bharat. So first they clean the cave and they do beautiful paintings on the cave. And after that, when they satisfied that painting is nice, after that they sleep. So lots of struggle for sleeping. So we have found the paintings in Bhimbetka. It is not 10,000 or 12, 13,000 year old. The painting is still survived, 20%. There is a survivability of 20%. So modern archaeologists, they see the painting, they re-sketch the painting, and in the painting there are different lifestyle, social gatherings of the human. Dancing, dining, hunting, all social economic activities are painted there. And that is how we come to know about the social, economic and economic life of the social and economic life of the prehistoric human. Fine. So go and visit Bhimbetka. So they use the color. Color was natural color. You take the juice of the plant, green, red, and then dry it. Minerals, you take the color from the minerals, dry it. So they use dry color, and dry color was put on the walls. Dry color on dry walls many times. Scientists said that there is oxygen on the rock, and oxygen oxidizes the thing. So once the color get oxidized, its life became very high. So their half-life is very less, and that is the reason why till date it is survived. It's because of the process of oxidation. Oxygen present in the rock of the soil. So in Middle Paleolithic there is discovery of fire. In Upper Paleolithic, human started living in caves. Human started living in caves. Human started living in caves. We have found so many caves, in Bhimbetka. We have found so many caves in Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka is in Madhya Pradesh. We have found around 600 caves. There are 600 caves. Natural caves. Natural caves. We have found the cave paintings. Cave paintings in Bhimbetka. Generally, natural colors was used in painting. Color from plant and minerals. Color from plant and minerals was used in this painting. Dry color was used. Dry color was used on dry walls. So dry color was used on dry walls. Because of oxidation of color, it still survived. Oxidation of color, it still survived. So हमने बोला कि dry color was used in drywall. This method of painting is called mural painting. There are many types of painting, mural, frescoes. So this is called miniature. So this is called mural painting. So mural painting is the earliest form of painting used by human. Mural painting is earliest form of painting used by human. So what is mural painting? Dry color on dry walls. Solid rock or the walls, you do painting, it is called mural painting. Suppose there is a wet plaster, अभी plaster किया दीवार में, wet plaster and wet color is applied on the plaster. Wet plaster and wet color is applied. So after the plaster dried, it soaked the color inside, and this is called fresco. So difference between mural and the fresco is this is the dry color on dry wall and wet color on wet plaster. So this is what is the mural and fresco. We will study in art and culture Ajanta. The paintings of Ajanta are both mural and fresco. Fine. So we will study in detail everything, that what is painting, what is nature of the painting, what is subject matter of painting and of Ajanta in art and culture. But this is the first exhibition of human art. This is first exhibition of human art. Dry color was put on dry wall. So human started doing some architectural character. So dry color on dry wall. It was put here. So Paleolithic age. In your NCERT, there is a chapter number perhaps 5th. We will follow old NCERT.